You need to get in certain rooms. You just do. The more you get out and you network with other people in a similar industry or in, or just networking, period, helps to keep your fire going about what you're doing. It also enlightens you to other things about industry that you may not know about. It also gives you visibility because as a business owner, you have to have visibility, right? You don't need to be famous. That's an invent an in what is it I'm trying to say? That's a new kind of newer invention that wealth and fame go together. No, you don't want to be famous, really, honestly. It's better that people don't know who you are.
Welcome to the Mind Body Energy Imbalance podcast.
Peace and love, y'all. It's Samut, and welcome to another episode of the Mind Body Energy Imbalance podcast. I've been away, obviously. Got so much to share. What's up, Flo?
Hey, what's going on? How's everybody?
Everybody good. Everybody good. We know everybody in our ecosystem is good and thriving. We always like to start our show by giving praise and honor to the ancestors upon the shoulders that we stand. May we be forever nourished by their good works, and may their good works flow through our presentation and sharing in this particular dynamic. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So what you been doing while I was away, Flaw? I haven't seen too much activity. What you been up to?
Same thing I always do. Work out.
Uh-huh.
Work out. Just try to figure things out, and that's it.
Yeah.
Be a dad. That never stops. The older they get, the more activities present themselves. So that's really it. Just trying to figure it. It's every day you try to figure things out. Not let the truths of the world drain your energy, because it is energy draining. Just when like I be watching certain programs and it can be energy draining. Like you just might get educating yourself can be energy draining because of the new information that you take in. I was watching something on Netflix about how the E. coli thing with the meats.
Oh yeah.
That it? Like
E. coli.
E. coli. There was just some things on that doc where it's eye opening. But it's energy draining because you go, well, everybody's can tell you what the problem is, but we don't really have a true solution, which we possibly do, but it's just like people want to just say, throw you what's wrong with the world, but hey, what are we doing out here? As a unit, but failing, and you have options. You can be part of the failing team, or you can be part of the team that's thriving. It can be. I was talking to a gentleman about real estate, and it was just like, it's eye opening about red states and blue states. For so long, people that look like you and I have been blue, because of the promises of the government.
Right.
In reality, if you think about it, what the Democrats really want to happen is for people that look like us, so dependent on them. But then you got the hustling spirit such as you and I, who our energy is possibly leaning towards other things, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. They create these living situations for us just so we can always be dependent on a certain entity. So it's just like the more you learn, the more you just like, man, this is a crazy world, but you got to just keep fighting.
Yeah.
What I've been doing, I've just been taking in information so I can, just be a better individual. But it's just like, man, you guys are crazy out there. And you just gotta keep fighting.
Yeah. No, the reality of it is when you you said something very key. You said a few key things actually. And one being that when you consume negative information, it is draining. Like information that only highlights the problem and not a solution. That is very draining on your spirit, on your energy. That's why we are advised and advise people not to watch the news, because the news almost never gives a solution. They almost always talk about all of the drama and problems and anarchy and hell that's going on everywhere. They almost never be like, okay, so this is what is happening, but this is how it's being remedied. Or even just focusing on solutions. It's draining. It just sucks your life force completely dry, you know? And you get up with a feeling of um, you leave that consumption with a feeling of desperation, a feeling of ineptitude, meaning you can't really help it, you can't really fix it, you know. None of that is good for prosperity and your frequency of aligning with the good that we desire in our life. None of that. And the other thing you said that I thought was very poignant and powerful was in relationship to these political parties, you know. Malcolm told us 40, 50 years ago, one was a wolf and one was a fox, but they both was dogs. You know, one is a wolf and one is a fox. It don't matter if they showing up as different animals as their symbols. One is a wolf and one is a fox. You know, one comes to you pretending to be for you and on your side. But, if you look at the state of what they say they represent, nobody is being uplifted by those social programs or whatever. And the other is straight up in your face. I don't give a damn about you or your folks. You need to get some boots and then pull yourself up by your bootstraps like everybody else. It doesn't matter that the playing field isn't level. You need to find out how to make your life work. And truth be told, you could be a little of each, like in the Afrocentric or an African, societal structure way. It is, it benefits everybody in the whole society for everybody to be nourished and educated and cared for. It just does. It benefits everybody, it benefits everybody for the whole society to be cared for. So, African structure is, you know, yes, work hard, make something of yourself, but we care for those who may be in a less fortunate space, like the elderly or orphan children. A healthy, vibrant, a healthy individual that can work, we find stuff for them to do, right? But this society is kind of like cloak and dagger. It's kind of like smoke and mirrors, really, on both sides. It really is. And I think that people should do the best that they can with their life, have opportunities, and be cared for to a degree, but also be guided to opportunities that help uplift them. I think that's very great, what you shared. So I have been down at the podcast summit in Florida, Miami, Florida. Went down there for several days. And that was very, very, very eye opening from several perspectives. One, the speakers that they had, shout out to David Shands and his team. The speakers that they had was excellent. Before I even got to the podcast summit, though, because I was afforded ambassador status, I was invited to all these different challenges and meetups and virtual meetups and everything. So all the way up until the podcast, like 35, 45 days before the podcast summit, I was in certain training sessions sponsored by David Shands and his team. And it was awesome. So before I even got there, I was already full and already thinking in my mind, oh my God, I got so much to do, you know? So, I was already full, and there were maybe 40 or 50 of us that were a part of the ambassador tribe and that were in these summits, in these challenges and all of this, right? When I got there, hotel was magnificent, 5-star, beautiful hotel. The service, it was excellent. Just as excellent. On the water, it was more like on a bay, really. I guess it was though. I don't know. It didn't seem like the ocean to me, but the ships were coming in and out, docking, and then there was like a carnival and like boardwalk entertainment and experiences up the boardwalk down there. So that was all good. I didn't really have a chance to do all of that because I was so intent on focusing coming there, with what I was focused to get what I was intending to be focused about, I should say. So the speakers that they had touched almost every area of podcasting and being successful. How to structure your podcast, how to find your voice, how to monetize your podcast like on several different levels. How to protect your intellectual property. They had attorneys there, that showed people and spoke to people about protecting their intellectual property because you're going out here into the public and you want to be, you want to have your tail ends covered, right? They talked about cameras and microphones and angles. They talked about multi guest setup, how to set up a show with multi angles when you have guests. They talked about how to do a show when you are just you and doing virtual. They talked about call-in shows. It was just so abundant, like it was so much. And David actually talked about the fact that he spent several $100,000 putting this event together, his first one, and that he recouped, you know, like $200,000 at that, if that, by the people that attended and whatever else. But what I noticed and what I really observed and really found very powerful is that the tribe that he had around him, those people was like, we got you. Come on, because he even said, like I said, being in on some of his training prior, actually, it was a YouTube video on his social proof podcast. He was saying how you ever be an entrepreneur and wake up and be like, I don't want to do this shit. Like, why am I doing this? Like, it's so hard. Like, he was like, really, you could tell he was about to cry. And he's like, it's so hard. I'm talking to my business people out there now. Why am I doing this? Like, you ever wake up as an entrepreneur and be like, I'm putting all this effort, this energy, or whatever, it's all these problems, everything is coming in. Why am I doing this? Because we basically have to. Most people who are entrepreneurs are not good employees. I mean, you might be able to hold a punch in 9 to 5 for a segment of time, but there's something burning inside of you that you be like, damn it, I gotta do it. I gotta get out here and do it. So he was like, why am I doing this? But I know the team of people, the like minds, the 6 multimillionaires that he is surrounded by. And then him being the 7th, I'm using that figuratively. I don't know how many, but I know some of them because they was there riding strong. All held him up and it's like, we know you tired. We know it's hard. We know the shit look crazy, but don't look at this right here. Look at where you trying to go. This is your, in spiritual culture, we would call it an offering. In other circles, they call it your dues, paying your dues. You paying your dues for where you really trying to take this thing. It's your first one out. You started as you meant to go on. Excellent. Top level excellent. But the thing wore him. And one of the lessons that I took from that in observing what was not being said, but was evident from my vantage point, was the tribe had him. They all showed up. EYL, 19 Keys, Donnie, Neo Davis, all these people that you see them connecting with on their social media as well as on their actual show that will just pop up on their show and be like, I was in the area, I came by to support you. You could tell that they really, really had David Shands, they had him down. And that was his counsel, if you will. And so, as an entrepreneur, spirit centered entrepreneur, y'all out there listening, how's your tribe? Who got you? Are you surrounded by 600,000 heirs, millionaires, and you're up next to be the seventh? Like who are you? Who is your team in that sense? What tribe you hanging with? You know, I remember Dame Dash said that I don't know the exact. When I by the time hip hop start turning to rap, I was on to something else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know all of the group names and all of that. But Dame Dash said that him and his crew, they were all millionaires and they all insisted that each person strive to create whatever they needed to create to be a millionaire. Part of the idea was that if any one of them invested poorly and lost their money, they could get 100,000 from each part of the tribe, and then they back to millionaire status and grow that, and then give everybody their 100 grand back. I mean, it's brilliant, you know. Now you don't want to keep losing losing your money, and then every couple months you got to go to your tribe. That's a good way to get kicked out of the tribe. Hello, you know. But I appreciated that, and I saw that at the podcast summit with David Shands and all his crew. You could tell they had his back, you know, and you could tell that it wasn't what he wanted it to be, but you know, they helped him stand strong. But it was a great, great, great success. About 1,000 people there from all over the country, even from out of the country. My one of the persons I connected with the most was from Canada. She reminded me actually of Aunt Pokey, my baby sister. And we just vibed. We clicked when we were in the ambassador challenges and all of that. We just vibed, right? So that was the one thing that the tribe, the people that you are surrounded by are so important as to whether or not they got your back for real, or is it lip service, or are they digging at you? Are they jealous or whatever? Let's go. We got this. Because if you come up, we know we all coming up too. Right. The next thing that I was one of the biggest takeaways for me is you got to get in different rooms. You know, like people may not observe, but I'm really kind of an extrovert introvert. I'm extroverted because I like to be out, but I'm really an introvert too because I'm very, very almost psychologically comfortable with myself. Like I could just be with me forever and just be good with that. You know, but then there's the other side of me that loves people and want to be around people. But the counterbalance is I don't have to go nowhere. So a person like me, and especially listen to me, y'all spiritually centered business people, you need to get in certain rooms. You just do. The more you get out and you network with other people in a similar industry or in, or just networking, period, helps to keep your fire going about what you're doing. It also enlightens you to other things about industry that you may not know about. It also gives you visibility because as a business owner, you have to have visibility, right? You don't need to be famous. That's an invent an in what is it I'm trying to say? That's a new kind of newer invention that wealth and fame go together. No, you don't want to be famous, really, honestly. It's better that people don't know who you are than to know who you are. And then you got not only the challenges that running a multi-million dollar successful organization presents. Now you got the challenges of fame and people being kind of like all in your life and in your energy, right? Then you have the challenges of that. You don't really want to. Wealth and fame are not the same thing, but you do need visibility. People have to know what it is you're offering. They have to resonate with it. They have to connect to it. They just do, right? So that was another takeaway. I'm in a room. It's predominantly Christian. That's all good. I'm not tripping about that. It's not me who be tripping. It's most of the time them that be tripping. Because I can love and have grace for everybody. But sometimes I'm speaking generally. I'm not speaking specifically about anybody in specific. I'm just speaking generally from my experience. Sometimes if you don't believe the same way other people believe, there's a shunning, there's a not inclusion, all of that, right? So when you go into these different rooms and the overarching the leadership of those rooms have a particular type of faith. Sometimes they are just kind of distant and cold because, you got all this, this African thing going on and people may not understand it. I did not receive that at all. I didn't experience that at all. It was very warm and welcoming. It was lovely. It was fabulous. I didn't experience that. Right? It was because I'm gonna be me. I went with all these coppers and all these headpieces and jewelries and ankhs and honey, I went in my authentic self. Otherwise, I'm not going. And it was very warm, and it was other people who you could tell were Afrocentric as well, experienced the Afrocentric energy as well, that were there also. Out of 1,000 people, the culture was represented. Hello. But the other thing that I took away is although the speakers on the stage were awesome and fabulous, it was like 30 different speakers, main stage and breakout rooms. I'm telling you, it was top notch. All the the energy was in the hallway. The energy was in the hallway because when the speakers finished and we went out for the break, everybody was in the hallways like networking and talking and taking pictures and asking each other about your show and how's your show and how are you it was so electric in the hallway. The energy were in the hallway. When we were in the rooms, the speakers, they were good. The energy was there too. But the real connections were made out in the hallways. That's what I'm saying. Because everybody was there mostly to connect. Well, what's your show about? Would you like to be a guest on my show? You could come be on my show. What's your show about? I never heard of that. Tell me more. It was just a bomb. Plus, those speakers, a lot of times you can't really get to them. Most time, you ain't even prepared for the level that a connection with them could take you to, honestly. Like the EYL, Earn Your Leisure, Troy and Rashad, 19 Keys. These people have millions and millions and millions of followers and views, and they are here, there, and they're working with billionaires. And, those types of connections you have to be ready for in your mind, body, and energy. It's not to say you can't make the connection, but you can start right where you are and build from there. And a lot of times that's with other peers in the hallway during the break, right? I'm just giving you all some of my takeaways from going to an event like the podcast summit, where there were thousands of people there, speakers as well as attendees, and the honest energy that the coordinator of that event shared in terms of how much money he had put out to make it a big show, a wonderful top class show, and the fact that he didn't recruit even half of the money that he spent. I mean, they had a mansion event the next day and everything, where they had rented a mansion and it was a mansion mastermind. So, like 30 or 40 people out of all those thousands of people went to the mansion mastermind, where it was more direct one-on-one guidance around, your podcast and what you need to do, next steps, and all of that.
Yeah, I see her.
Oh, she is. Oh, I didn't see her. I can't see her.
You,
Oh,
I
because I couldn't see. I can't see her. I was like, "Where's the guest?"
want to bring
Let's
her
bring
on.
her on. Yeah. Can you click her in?
Yeah.
Hey, Xola. I didn't realize you were on. I'm steady running. I couldn't see nothing. Jarrell, you have to tell me when people is on.
I thought you could see what I see.
When I full screen it, I can't see nothing.
Oh.
All I can see is us. Anyway, we do not edit around here. Hey, Xola, welcome. You look amazing.
Yo, so do you. Thank you so much. I just was listening and hearing all those jewels you dropped from that podcast convention. I'm probably calling it wrong summit. I'm probably using the wrong term. I do apologize for my background because I am on the go, but I definitely did not want to miss the opportunity to be on here and connect with you. So yeah,
that's all right. You always on the go, child. Jarrell, Xola, Jarrell.
How you doing, Xola?
Flaw 700. Oh shit.
You lay down. You lay down.
You can cut that part out. We can start to do it over. I was just trying to give, the personal situation. Anyway, let me just round out what I was saying about the podcast summit. The one last thing I want to share with y'all, business owners out here, culturally centered, spiritually centered business owners, is when you go to something like that, the podcast summit, you need to have an intention. You can't just go there floating around. You need to have an intention for what it is you want to receive from that type of gathering. Who you want to meet, the question you want to ask them, who you want to, how you want to organize what you're doing, and the questions you have around that, and so weeks before, I had a list of questions that I would meditate, and question would come to me, and I had all these questions written down. And then I made an error sharing with y'all. Some of us ladies went to dinner, and I told them, we were all talking, and I said, yeah, you got to be prepared, and I have a list of questions. And they were like, "Oh, what's your questions?" And I started giving them my questions. These are other attendees like me, right? They paid to go there, paying for the hotel, whatever. They paid to go there just like I did. And they were like, "Oh, what's your questions?" And I started giving them my questions, and they were like, "Oh, well, they ain't gonna answer that. Oh, well, they don't. I could tell you about that. You should do this. You should. Now you're my peer. You should do this. You should do that. You should do that." And I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, And they said, "So what's the next one?" I gave them like 2 questions. So they said, "What's the next one?" And y'all know me. They ain't know me, but y'all know me. I said, "I ain't telling y'all shit else." I said, "I ain't telling y'all nothing else. Y'all poo-pooing my questions. We peers, right?" And they were like, "Oh, MamaYoga." I was like, "Oh, whatever. What you got on your plate over there?" So the point is, you don't, when you go to these kind of things, have an agenda, your own agenda, and then share it and extract the information with the people who you perceive are the experts. That's one thing. I'll be sharing more stuff when we come. But we got my dear, beautiful sister Xola on the line here with her gorgeous self. Xola, you look so fabulous. I don't know if I haven't seen you in a while, but you just look really like energized, child.
Well, I spent some time in the garden yesterday preparing for our event, Goddess in the Garden. And I feel like, I came out really glowing. I have a green passport, right? And it gives me access to all the gardens in Philadelphia and surrounding areas. So now
Mm.
I'm like, you know what? Until we get to late fall, I'm going to be visiting like a garden like once a week.
That's
So
so
that I'm actually on my
awesome.
way to one now.
A green passport. I
Yeah.
love that. But so we have this fabulous event coming up, the Goddess in the Garden, and the goddess is going to visit all the gardens. That is so awesome. Right.
Yes, it's getting me excited. I think it's going to draw excitement. I mean, we are the garden. It's really no physical garden. You know,
Mhm.
when us women, when we gather, we're really the garden. But you know, it's still
Mhm.
nice to be out there. You know, and be one with Mother Earth. But we are the garden. That's really what I'm trying to explain to people. You know, we could have this in an alleyway, and we would still be the garden because
Absolutely.
when the women gather, that's just what we do. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So tell us about the event. You started the garden Goddess in the Garden 4 years ago. What was the driving factor for you putting that type of event together?
I think I wanted to give a direction. I feel like
Mm.
there were just a lot of things going on with women, going on with the sisterhood, and I just wanted us to have a time where we could come together with the same intention and and celebrate that divine feminine energy and the
Mhm.
nurturers of the community, the
Mhm.
matriarchs, all those things like that. So that was really my first intention behind it. And also where healers could just, have a healing hub. If you need to get Reiki, if you need to get a reading, you need to get finance advice or whatever you need to do, we have someone who does it and just helping to
Mhm.
promote those businesses within. So that was kind of like my intention, and of course, it's grown.
Mhm.
I'm finding ways to continue to to be in that mindset of God is in the garden all year long. So when we
Mhm.
come to God is in the garden, I think it's like a reminder, and it's kind of like a compass for what direction we need to continue on. As far as how we're going to be in community with each other, how we can show up for each other, and just support each other in whichever
Mhm.
ways that might be. Sometimes
Mhm.
just sitting with each other. Sometimes it might be helping with a business idea or some finances, or sometimes it might be, I started a business, and I want to have more events like this.
Mhm.
Let's tap
Mhm.
into each other, and I just think we really have to uphold the sisterhood. I feel like
Mhm.
sometimes we may be very busy with what we have going on, our personal lives and our own
Mhm.
household. Sometimes it's hard to still be available for sisterhood.
Right.
We have
Right.
a lot on our plates. So I feel like, I mean, I don't want to speak on the brotherhood, but I know the men have a lot on their plates too. But I think we have to really make a stronger intent to make time for each other.
Right. No, that's true, because I always say that if woman begins to keep herself in order and in line and nourished up, that is what transfers to, the men in our life, our children, and the rest of our families in our life, when the woman has herself nourished and healed, we transfer that energy on. And it's not negating that men need their own healing, and in fact there's gods in the garden, but we don't want to jump the gun. But this particular gathering is focused around woman, and it is focused around the sisterhood, and also the fact that womanhood seems to be under attack in this particular aspect of time, and we just have to stand forward and strong for what that means, for our community, womanhood, and the love of womanhood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a time to reflect on the state of sisterhood. And
Hmm.
actually, it's almost like reclaiming
Hmm.
because we have so many people trying to tap in and pull that banner of, I'm a woman and I understand woman, I understand sisterhood. And, we just got to really walk around here and be more proud to have that badge because it's a
Hmm.
lot going on where things are not clear, where things
Right.
are things are trying to be confused, and it's trying to
Hmm.
confuse people, confuse the youth. So we have to really take time to set the record straight So even the young woman coming up can still understand that, this exists. And I don't have to get down with whatever's being pushed over here and over there. No,
Right.
nothing against that, but
Right.
this is okay. And and just it is really difficult. Like almost it's like when you want to have a pride in womanhood, it's like you're being ego driven, or so it's really difficult. Like when you say I'm proud to be a woman or a womb, woman, people are like, it's just really a lot going on where we have to really focus that energy and
Right.
say, we still going to stand right here and have this, regardless of how the world moves. We still going to have this.
Right.
So yes,
It's like it's getting to the point similar to where if you are proud to celebrate Black, and Afrocentrism and your culture, you almost always have to give like a disclaimer ahead of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this doesn't mean that I'm negating or disrespecting any other community. I'm just proud of my ancestry. And it's getting to the point in terms of womanhood where people are feeling like they have to offer a disclaimer in regards to celebrating the fact that they are a holy woman. So we are saying time out for that nonsense. We're not having none of it. It doesn't mean that we don't love or care for anybody else or any other expressions, but we stand fully and strongly in celebrating our sisterhood, our womanhood, and that should be sufficient. That's just like no is a complete sentence. Our love for ourselves as women is a period at the end of it. Literally and figuratively. So, Goddess in the Garden, when is it, my dear? We have it there along the crawl on the bottom of the screen, but share us a little bit about the date, some speakers, what does that event look like?
So, Guys in the Garden is going to be at the Nile restaurant in Philadelphia. It's on Germantown Ave. I think it's 6008 Germantown Ave.
Yep.
And it is the oldest vegan restaurant in the city. So we're very excited to have it there. And it's also a temple. I want to say a Kemetic temple.
Yep.
I want to, I believe that. So it's really great to other sacred spaces, because it's really about, us tapping into our sacred divine feminine energy, and then to be able to have it hosted at an event like this. We have some wonderful speakers lined up. When we first started Goddess in the Garden, it was an all-white party. We just told the women to come out in white. Following that year, following the first one, we kind of said, also, in addition to coming out in white, you can also have the option of dressing up in honor of your favorite goddess energy, whatever you want to recognize or give recognition or give honor to. You could come out as that. So that's been really interesting to see how the women get dressed up and get creative with that. And we have a lot of speakers. One thing I am really excited about, I think, is the showcase that Queen Yazzie is putting together. She had an event called Rise of the Goddess Showcase, and now we've combined our events to where she's doing the Rise of the Goddess Showcase at Goddess in the Garden. So I thought that was a wonderful collaboration. Some of the speakers we have, Dr. Muako.
Muwakil,
thank you. And his journey is just amazing. As far as his spiritual knowledge and just master healer. Coming through to shed some light on a few different topics. He also does acupuncture, some other services, and it's always just a pleasure to be within his energy. So I'm glad that we get to hold that up, because sometimes people think that this is all woman driven. No, we have men and women. This is a community event.
Right.
So even though we're saying, hey, we want to honor these women, but one thing that we know is that when the womb heals, we all heal.
Absolutely.
So just kind of putting that out there. So our writers, because even though we're focused on womb healing and woman healing, that's community healing.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm super excited. I know we have the Chai Muse coming
Mm-hmm.
through.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about that sister, their products, what they have going on. I've been following them a while on Instagram, and we'll have an official lineup out there probably within the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's coming along really well, and I'm just my soul needs this event.
Right,
And I
right.
feel like
Absolutely.
a lot of the women, we make time to be a part of this because it's important for us. And
Mm-hmm.
yep. So if you guys do want to come, you go on my page, Crystal Jawn, or even if you go on Mama Yoga page, the
Mm-hmm.
link is in the bio for ticket purchase. We do recommend that you get your tickets early because it will be more at the door. But yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
super excited. A lot going on. And we'll have those official lineups of speakers and our vendor announcement and also the showcase. We'll have that coming out soon. We're still putting some things together.
Mm-hmm.
People are still, tapping in and trying to be a part. So we'll be releasing that soon though. Very exciting.
Absolutely. And then we have, like you said, we have vendors, always looking for more vendors to come out and share your wares, with what, with our audience there. And the food at the Nile Cafe. Everybody who knows me knows that that's my tribe, my family, my spiritual family. There, the food is all vegan, and like Xola said, is the oldest vegan restaurant in the city of Philadelphia, the oldest continuous vegan restaurant in the city of Philadelphia. That distinction was given to them by Vegan Society a couple of years ago at an award ceremony. So um, it's going to be just awesome, and I love the all white. I think if you, especially in the time that we're living in and the forces and energy that, we're seeking to balance out within womb, within woman, I love the all white, and I'm encouraging folks to come in white. Of course, you can represent your favorite goddess however you'd like to, but that is nothing like that white energy. When you see all of those beautiful brown people, all the shades of brown in white, it's just so heartwarming. It just raises the vibration. So I would be expecting and prayerful to see that in people. We usually also set up an altar for the ancestors, flowers and such, just to have a presence of that energy with the divine feminine energies present, pictures, statues, whatever. So, prayerfully, that'll be something we could put together too. Got a lot of stuff we doing, child.
And we encourage folks to bring that picture of Big Mama, bring that candy she like, bring
Mhm.
whatever it is, that fragrance she like, that food, and put that
Mhm.
on that altar because what they say about grandma prayers and how those things is just continuous and we still living off the back of those things. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's important. That was one thing that was important for me too, was because like my grandmother probably was like the most important person in my life. And
Mhm.
we're
Mm.
able to really acknowledge those seeds that they plant and continue to give recognition and show people this is how we do it. So when I'm not here with y'all physically here, y'all remember me, pour libation
Mhm.
for me. Remember the things I
Mhm.
told y'all. And I think it's been a lot of healing in that with sharing those the matriarch altar, also with those goddess energies there. Because
Mhm.
we all have a figure
Mhm.
of a woman, a goddess in our lives that have really shaped us as far as who we are. We have that figure that we look up to, that inspires
Mhm.
us, that we try to be more like. So I
Mhm.
think that's important. And like I tell people, it doesn't have to be, it could be just a family member.
Right.
It could be someone from our tribe.
Absolutely.
It could be my flow if you want to put her up there. But
Mhm.
but feel free to acknowledge and recognize those energies because that work is never forgotten, and that work is still working.
Absolutely, absolutely. August 19th at the Nile Garden and Cafe, Nile Courtyard, Nile Cafe and Courtyard in Philadelphia, 6008 Germantown Avenue, August 19th. You can go on Instagram, Mama Yoga Wellness, or Instagram, Crystal Jawn, either bios, and click the link for your ticket. You can purchase your tickets at the door. They will be more, but you can also get your tickets online up to this date, and come and celebrate with us. Come and celebrate womanhood. Come and celebrate the goddess. Come and celebrate the goddess in the garden, for sure. Thank you, Xola.
Yes, thank you so much. I do have Vonnie here. She just wants to say hi. She's
Oh, what?
Say hi quickly.
I wish I known Vonnie. Hello, Vonnie, dear. Oh my God.
I just wanted to say hi. I don't have much to say. I'm just enjoying everything that I'm listening to, and I love you, and I love Xola. So I'm just happy to be sharing this day with her, and via you and your wisdoms and everything too.
Oh, give thanks. That's so awesome. But wait a minute, leave the camera back on there. Are you driving? Are you driving or pulled over?
No, we're just like crawling through traffic.
Okay, so pay attention to the road. But I want to say, listen, if y'all are listening to this, go on Instagram and order this woman's healing booster, elixirs. What is it called? Bombay? Vonnie Bay? What is
I'm listening like, okay, which elixir?
We talking about you, girl.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness, honey. During the COVID, of course, I, had my own, jujus and elixirs and everything I was making them for my family and everything. But then I saw this sister on the line on Instagram, and she was making them, and instantly it was just like a spiritual connection. And I went and I bought some of her, her healing shots and her healing drinks, and it was the energy, the love, the official stamp from the ancestors is in her juju, in her juice, in her drinks. Go on to Yvonne. What's your thing on Instagram, child? Let me see here.
Yvonne with a Y. Yvonne Dabomb, Dabomb. So it's YBO and then Dabomb.
Yes, please go in when she starts making her juices and everything. Order them from her, child. You're gonna have to get to where you shipping them.
I know. And Mama, I want you to try the new flavor sea moss I'm making. It's soursop.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I'm coming next week to get some. I can't be waiting. When you making it again, child?
Just let me know when you come, and I'm gonna have it ready for you.
All right.
Promise you'll make it.
Wonderful.
But yes, thank you. It's been such a pleasure to be here, and I hope I get to come on sooner. I just wanted to chat about the event with you, but I don't want to take up too much space.
Oh, you ain't taking up no space, darling. The space is allotted. You always got a place in space, So I love you. I love you both. Drive carefully. Be safe. And thank you so much. And we'll see you very soon. All right.
Yes. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Take care.
All right. Peace and love.
Nice to meet you as well.
All right. So that was wonderful. And I think we're going to move to a different type of show.
What show is that?
A different format is what I mean. So we could talk about that off air, but this is a little teaser for the folks. Leave this in. Anything you want to share? I know we just love bombed you with the female energy flaw. You just was like, okay, let me just sit here. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just listening.
I think that what's happening there is extraordinary. It's something that I've been looking for women to do, because I think that where women are lacking at is they keep waiting for men to do something, and men aren't doing anything. So women take the forefront of making adjustments and changes, and just I love it. And I've just listened to what you guys were saying about, hey, if we do something, then maybe reverse. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, well, if men do something, like women are just waiting for men. Women are waiting for men to take action for certain things. If you look at certain women, they talk like men, they walk like men, they eat like men, they smoke like men. Like they're looking at us, and if
Mhm.
men aren't taking that opportunity to lead, you got goddesses in the garden who are going to step in and show women, hey, we can heal ourselves, we can do this ourselves. And it's not to step on anybody's toes, it's for everybody else to look at us and say, hey, you better catch up because we're going to be so healed and loved and eons past what you guys are doing. You guys got to catch up. So it's not like
Right.
intimidating movement. It's hey, you guys need to figure yours out because we figuring ours out, and then let's come together. When we figure that's for me, that's the big thing. We got nothing figured out, but everybody wants to come together. We all come
Mhm.
together. Bro. It's
Mhm.
I can do my own podcast on how I feel about people that keep coming together. Like I'm single for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I understand that the way that we date, the way that we connect with each other, it's a little
Mhm.
off. It's a little
Mhm.
a lot of us don't even know what to fix. A lot of us don't even know what to work on. So just
Mhm.
listening to you ladies talk about, what it's about and what it's for, I think that it's tremendous.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, that's
I gotta
awesome.
stop myself from talking because I can do this all day.
No, it's okay. It's good. I definitely value your opinion, your perspective, and especially on something like Goddess in the Garden. It was, women really, we kind of just, kind of, took over the airwaves. But like you said, you were listening intently, and that's appreciative. And then what you just shared was awesome. You got to clip that part up. you know yeah, for real, clip it up. So I love you. Thank you so much for everything. Y'all know Flaw 700 is my nephew. One of my nephews. I have like a million nephews. My sister's brought forth sons, for sure, but Flaw is definitely our DNA is connected. And he's just really a young man I'm very, very proud of, as I am with all of my nephews, most of them.
Yeah.
Oh shit! They'll be like, "What was that, Auntie?" Anyway, I love everybody, and everybody's fabulous. Oh, all right. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of the Mind Body Energy Imbalance. Remember to always keep your mind, body, and energy in balance, such so that you may walk in peace. See you next time.